Hi, chat. Real chat. Hi. How's it going? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hi. Yes. Okay. Yay, Bethers. Hi. Everybody keeps talking about Trump's latest tweet. Is it a new one or is it the one we talked about yesterday? Do you guys know? I want to pull it up. I definitely don't support Ukraine. That's psychotic. Okay. Come on over to Twitch. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me and see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? You know what? Justice for that queen. Justice for that queen. Because why didn't the other girl say yes? Why didn't the other girl say yes? That's crazy. I would feel insane. Oh, he's saying he's going to nuke Iran. Okay, I thought we were going to nuke Iran, actually. I hope we don't nuke Iran, very obviously, but I kind of thought we would. I thought he would get so embarrassed about losing that he would just be like, fuck it, we're going to nuke Iran then. That was my guess. I don't know if I said that on this Twitch stream or not, but I thought that's what would happen. So let me take a look. Trump knew it's Truth Social. You don't think the other girl could get a word in? Talk over her, bitch. Don't let her fumble like that. Oh, okay, here we go. 4 hours ago. I'm looking at the Trump. I'm looking at it. You hear me? You see me? A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Okay. I'm going to do some Trump decoding on this. I have some thoughts. Crazy. I have thoughts, though, based on the way he worded this, that I want to talk about. Okay. So you guys come join us over on Twitch. We've got the tweets pulled up. We're going to talk about it. We're looking at it. We're not even on Twitter. We're on truthsocial.com, so you don't have to be. I did that to my browser history for you. So come join us over there. Oh, hi. How many people do we have over here right now? How many people over on our Twitch stream? 163. Oh, we can do a little better. They usually do a little better with a face. Then they're like, oh, it's starting. And then more people come. That's what I've noticed. So more people will come. So, yeah. Come on over. Oh, your blanket. That's probably so cool. Yeah. Why do I not support Ukraine? It's a right-wing fascist government that imprisons and murders leftists. I'm a leftist. I don't want that. Ukraine would try to kill me. I'm not going to support their government. Fuck that. 200 now. Okay, that's good. Okay, yay. Thank you, Biflo. Okay, so you guys, yeah, people don't know. Everybody has opinions about shit they don't understand. I don't know. I would just wait and then try to understand it and then have an opinion afterwards. That's my go-to. And you'll see when I'm like, I don't know enough to know about that. It's pretty funny. How about the guy in my TikTok stream who was asking like multiple choice style Marxist questions to try to get like really specific definitions earlier? That was killing me. He like memorized like 3 things in chapter 1 of Capital, or not even chapter 1 of Capital, honestly. He just like memorized 3 random things and then was going around quizzing everybody to see if they'd memorized like the same sentences as him. Chindong Asiter's here! Yay! That was really funny. Define mode of production. And I'm like, in what context? Like, the capitalist, the socialist, the transition? And then he was like, no, I want, like, this really specific definition. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember you, actually. Because he did the same thing in my comment section once. And I was like, I feel like you're looking for something really specific that I do not have on permanent memory recall right now. So why don't you just tell me what you're looking for? And then we can talk about it. And then he said, a social relation. And I was like, oh, okay, social relation. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds like an answer one could want. Sure. So then when he came back into my TikTok stream, I was like, I remember you. You want a social relation. We can talk about a social relation. Yeah, we can talk about that. Sure, mode of production is a social relation. But he didn't want that. Then he was like, no. And then he got hung up on, there was some other thing. He was like, now define this term. And I'm like, what are we doing here? What exactly is happening? But I do feel like that's what happens when people who are used to taking multiple choice tests in school first encounter theory. They want to like memorize key parts of things or something, and they think that is how you understand it. Or that you look at things in short like clips, and that's how you understand it. And it's a very different, I think, approach than most people have to understanding theory, right? You relate things to each other. You have a dialectical relationship. This conversation builds off this conversation, and this is how you like understand these concepts and get to these truths. But no, he's really funny though. He's a kookball. I like him. I'm gonna keep letting him come do shit like that. Oh no, I don't know who that is. Andy, Ukrainian Andy on TikTok. Ugh. Okay, I haven't spoken to my party yet. No, I haven't. You sent me a DM on IG with relevant IG pages related to the event offering my help. Oh my god, okay, thank you, Make It Clear. Yeah, I haven't spoken to them yet, but I will. My party's right now talking about the Donald Trump thing. You have a fun one for chat? Okay, we'll take a look. All right. So you guys come join us over on Twitch stream. It's going to be good. Yeah, Danny NK Ukrainian. Danny Ukraine. What's next? Danny Croatia. Your party should expel pro-Russian members. Bitch, my party is pro-Russian members. I don't really... We're Russian neutral. Honestly, we're not like super pro-Russia. They haven't had a workers' revolution, but you know, we're what the kids call campus. We like that Russia is sending Cuba oil. We think that's a good thing, and we do not like the Ukrainian Nazis. And we recognize the United States did that. Oh, you're a Marxist? Name one mode of production. Which is funny, because I'm like, well, yeah, which one? What? Yeah, which? Yeah. Tanky, yes, of course. Whistle, whistle. Ukraine joined in on the invasion of Iraq. Name one leftist who's arrested by Ukraine who didn't collaborate with Russian fascist occupiers. So they said every socialist collaborated with Russians. That's why that was the justification they used. However, I can tell you one man who was very, very vocal about what happened to his party at the time. Let me look him up. Let me get you his name. I'm going to try to find him. God, where was this guy's name? Where is he? He was the leader of a socialist party there. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? No, I haven't hung up with him yet. I should actually. Yeah, come on over to Twitch and I'll find it. Come over to Twitch and I'll find it for you. He's there. Actually, don't come to Twitch, actually. You're real weird. I don't want you ruining our vibe over there. But there is, if you look up a leader of a socialist party that was imprisoned in Ukraine, you'll find several. But there's one guy in particular who's been very, very vocal on the internet. I do not remember his name, though, off the top of my head. There's no way I would ever remember his name. So we're gonna have to do a Google search, but I don't have time for that right now because I'm supposed to be talking to Twitch, not you guys. So, okay, I'm gonna hang up. All right, bye. Bogdan. I'm gonna trust that. You can't verify it, but I'm gonna trust it. Yeah, hi. What's funny about the multiple choice question guy thing too is like I've been a Marxist for like 20 years of some kind. That's never come up in any conversation I've ever had with people about Marxism, that it would be important for you to have this very specific definition of a mode of production. Like, you understand what a mode of production is, obviously. Like, yeah, it's how you get shit made, right? That's how you get shit made. It's like, and the mode of production also creates a social dynamic as a result of it, but it's how you get shit made. That's what you do. It has never in my life has anybody asked that question anywhere. Because it's one of those things, it's like a very self-evident thing. It's like asking what's a money. And you're like, well, shit, I'm sure Marx probably did have a really specific definition for, like, money somewhere in that text, but I don't, like, it seems like you're looking for something specific if you ask that, because it's a very interesting question. I mean, it's not an interesting question. That's exactly why, because it's not a very interesting question, right? It's very, very interesting. Okay, do we have a raid? A raid of 1! Yes! I love a raid of 1. Yeah, it's like this. Like, this one. If you're a Marxist, what time did Marx take a dump on the 15th of May? Exactly. But I mean, I think it's good to talk about what a mode of production is in Marxism. And Marx, talks about modes of production. That's basically just like the different systems you can use to like get things made and done. So like capitalism is a mode of production, socialism is a mode of production, or communism is a mode of production, and so that's usually how we talk about it. But just to say what is a mode of production, it's like, well, it's how you get shit made. It's how you get shit made and how society is structured around it as a result. But this guy didn't like that answer. He didn't want me to use Madeline language. He wanted me to give you the exact quote in Marx language. And I was like, I feel like you're looking for something so specific and I'm not going to be able to give it to you. How you get shit made and what happens to the world because of that. That's how I would say it. But he didn't like that. He didn't like that. That's pretty funny. Oh yeah, we're way better here. That TikTok's full of idiots. They're full of weird idiots. It's crazy. But yeah, so that guy came from the group of people who didn't understand commodity fetishism also. Because like I said, I think they're just reading like really like specific little sound clip type things. And not, they're not really like understanding comprehensively. I think that's what I'm saying. You created a new Tiananmen Square tank and ran over the single raider with those tanks. Did he say China's capitalist? No, he didn't. So I don't think he's a trot. He might be a trot. I think he could be a trot or a left comm, certainly. I had like some stuff post while I'm going to check my TikTok notifications really fast to make sure everybody's not being crazy. Okay, no, it's pretty good. Okay, we're good. We're okay. Anyway, hi. Hi, everybody. So, we saw the Truth Social post, obviously. We took a look at that. If you just showed up, this is what we're taking a look at on this insane Donald Trump post. And I have some thoughts. Do I agree that communism is better than capitalism? Yes, I'm a communist. I am a Marxist-Leninist. I am a communist. So, for the chat says we're looking for a persona for me. I know, shocking. Okay, yeah. So, Donald Trump has done two things here that I want to point out, which is really interesting. We talked about how in yesterday's chat we were talking about how the propaganda coming out of Iran was like making fun of Donald Trump basically for keeping on saying he won the war, he did these things, or he was negotiating, or Iran was down on their knees. And they were like, we're not, and you haven't, and we don't want to talk to you. Like, we have very simple demands, you meet them or you don't. Like, that's it. But Donald Trump, part of what he's doing is trying to basically pretend like they have pulled off regime change in Iran because they killed Ayatollah Khomeini. Now, for anybody who's not familiar with the government structure of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini is a religious leader, but they also have a parliament that's fully elected. They have a president. Like, that one guy, that one nearly 90-year-old guy was not their government. They don't have a dictatorship. So killing a 90-year-old religious leader isn't regime change in Iran. Now, Donald Trump knows this. They just appointed a new Ayatollah, and that's why the Iran video made fun of him. It was like, oh, you thought you'd get rid of our whole government by getting rid of one Ayatollah Khomeini? Joke's on you. We just appointed another Ayatollah Khomeini. Congrats, you replaced one Khomeini with another Khomeini. Like, nothing's going to change. So, Donald Trump at this point obviously realizes he fucked up. He fucked up bad by going to war with Iran. It was not as easy as he thought it would be. He was obviously emboldened by how easy Venezuela was. He thought Iran would be like Venezuela. It is not. So now what he has to do is save face, because he's a man driven by ego. He's a man driven by ego at the end of the day. He wants to look good. He wants to look powerful. He doesn't want to make the United States look weak. But the United States is weak. Militaristically, we are weak. We are losing this war. So how does he do that? Well, one of the ways he does it is to claim we actually did pull off regime change, right? So that's what he's trying to do here. And I want to talk about that because he's hedging it here. So he's basically, threatening nuclear attack or some major attack of some kind. I had guessed exactly this. I was like, put on my little historical materialism, put on my Marxism thinking cap. What's going to happen? We're going to lose this war, and then we're going to get so embarrassed we're going to nuke them because we have to be the most powerful. And that is how we can be the most powerful. That's what's important to the United States, projecting confidence into the world. So then after that, the guy came out and was like, I think they're going to nuke Iran. I can't be complicit in this. The guy who'd worked with the UN. I was like, oh, okay, maybe. But then now we have this. So two very different things are happening here. There's a projection of strength and there's a projection of weakness. And I want to talk about both of them. He is unironically doing dialectics in his own tweet, right? So here's what's going on. So first of all, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. What are we talking about here? This sounds like a nuclear threat. This sounds like a nuclear threat, or if not nuclear, some sort of total devastation bombing moment. Is that of embarrassment, or is it to secure the petrodollar? Yes. It's out of both. Yes. And part of why the petrodollar is so important is because the United States economy hinges largely on having a finance capital model, right? Where we're an M to M economy. We're We're not making shit. That's not the basis. We don't have a tangible goods kind of based economy. So in order for the United States to remain powerful, we have to have the petrodollar. That is part of how we project power into the world. So it's all kind of related to each other. So then the next part, though, is projection of weakness. So the projection of weakness is, now that we have complete and total regime change, remember, he's pretending like killing Khamenei was complete and total regime change. We know it wasn't. But he's pretending that. And now he's like, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? So he's also here saying, we already did regime change. And the new people, you know, if we don't nuke you tonight, it's because the new people worked with us like smart people. That's what he is saying. Now, it doesn't matter what Iran is actually doing or not doing, most likely. What he's trying to do is project two different cores of strength, but he's not. So because we know they didn't actually do regime change, he's hedging his bets for if they don't. He's like, well, if we don't nuke them, if we don't go all out for some reason, we can still claim that it's because we did regime change and put better people in charge of Iran, and that's why we didn't do it. But we know this isn't true. They didn't do regime change. So I think this is like a really interesting kind of, these are two contradictory ideas. Like, if we do it, it'll be because we're strong and fuck you. If we don't do it, it'll be because we're strong and we did regime change and we got people in there who are subjugated to us and under us and we are stronger than them and fuck you. And that's really what he's trying to project, except we know the second one's a lie. We know the second one's a lie. So we know if it doesn't happen, so he backed down because he thought the whole world would go to war with him and it would start World War III, right? Complete and total regime change. So this is what I immediately noticed in here. Yeah. We'll find out tonight one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. 11.1 retruths. God. I didn't think that nuclear winter would start with 11,000 retruths. But okay. So does this post count as proof of genocidal intention for an ICJ suit? I don't know. I mean, the ICJ suits, maybe. I just don't feel that they are particularly effective or necessary or useful. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to get a sense of like how the international world order works, but it's this projection of rules and checks and balances that don't really happen. Like, we committed genocide on Jeju Island. Like, you know, what's the ICJ going to do about it, right? I think this is like the liberal world's attempt to pretend like there's order, that there's someone in charge, that there's checks and balances that there aren't. Death will finally end. A whole civilization will die tonight. Yeah, he's a crazy person. Okay, so this clip makes so much sense now. Let's see.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Interesting. Okay. I never saw that. He is weird. Okay. Yeah, America's like the bully in art class that flips over a whole table because their project is not going as well as everyone else's. Yes. So, I'm guessing we're going to want to talk about this today. Is it even worth doing a poll? What do you guys think? What do you guys, do we have any thoughts? Bogdan. Oh, thank you, Biflo. Yes, you were right. Bogdan Shrutkin was arrested in April 2024 by Ukrainian police from your TikTok. Oh, thank you. You would like the illusion of choice. Okay, let's do a poll then. Let's do a poll. So, look, if you're new here over on this segment, we call it the Double Down. We talk about the news. So we do current events only over here. And what we do is we get together 5 different news options for us to choose from to talk about today. And you can submit things. So this is a portion where you get to submit news you're interested in talking about. So submit them here. I will pull them all up. We're going to watch this while you guys...
They say, Donald, you'll never look cute as a cat girl. You can never pull off those ears and tails. But look at me, wag. Look at me. Quite frankly, I'm the cutest cat girl. What the hell? You're never going to wiggle your ears. You're never going to... But I said, yeah. They say, Donald, you'll never look cute as a cat girl. You can...
I was muted. muted. Okay. So somebody sent this over. This is what we're talking about. This is one submission. FBI's political pre-crime center. Thought crime. We got a thought crime. All right. What else we got? I know I was muted. I'm so sorry, but I'm here now. Okay. What else? Anybody else? Yeah, it is Minority Report type shit, isn't it? Should I just look? I'll look up general news. Let's see. News today. I can Google. All right. NPR is talking about this. U.S. has struck Iranian military targets. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Something's happening with her. Tucker Carlson. My partner was telling me Tucker Carlson's like an independent now, which is pretty wild. No, I've not heard about the UN thing. Which Asian countries are passing through the Strait of Hormuz? Oh! An American woman whose husband said she fell overboard in the Bahamas. We don't need to do that. The Minority Report. Wow, Ghost in this Hell. Bleak and smart. I just need everybody to acknowledge the Ghost in this Hell joke. FBI's new political pre-crime center and Ghost in this Hell said emphasizing the minority in Minority Report. Wow. Someone hire Ghost in this Hell to be a writer. I don't know anything about Tucker Carlson. I don't know anything. My partner was just like telling me like, oh yeah, now he's made this like shift, this pivot, and I have no idea what to think about it. I haven't seen anything myself. Okay, ICE arrested more than 800 people after tips from U.S. Airport Security Agency. Okay. We have something from the PSL News. The war comes home. How working class communities in the South are pulled into endless wars. All right, that is interesting as well. And we have North Korea bans rooster hairstyles and see-through sleeves, with women told they would be jailed and have their heads shaved. This one we are not going to do a whole read on because it's old. But we got to see. Oh, there's the source. I didn't have to look far. What's the source, chat? Oh. Oh, we get a rare treasure chain. Okay. Yeah, DPRK News. Very normal. Not weird. No big deal. Rooster style. A high ponytail with high swept fringe that covers the forehead and one eye. Oops, it's all CIA. Oops. Oh, man. We love it. We love to see it. Okay, so let me sort these into like 5 options here for us. This is like more Iran. We got a lot of Iran. Okay, I need one more. Does anybody else have one more thing for the chat? Yeah, they're so bad at it. And like the liberals don't know. That's the wild thing, you know? They don't know that it's like very obvious CIA. And we keep telling them. And they aren't paying attention. Oh, here we go. We got this. Also, I need to understand why so many liberals think Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are best friends. Oh, General Strike update. That's pretty good. Is there news on Maduro? No, I haven't seen any news on Maduro lately, but let's look. Well, here we have this on Al Jazeera about the Venezuela Chavismo movement. That could be interesting for us. Okay. Hold on. What else? I think we got 5. Yeah, they don't want to know. Oh yeah, tanky.org. We have to look at tanky.org. It's my link tree. You're the best chat ever. Yay! Tanky.org. I love. Okay. I love whoever did that. Who did it? Who's the one that did it? Is it anonymous? I also have Tanky.net. Nice. I like that Tanky.com was probably too expensive, but it feels on brand to not have Tanky.com. Obsess did it. You did it. Oh my God, thank you. So cool. Ah, I love the chat. I love the chat. I love to see it. Oh. Oh, 6ix9ine? Called out the news media's hypocrisy. You mentioned how they didn't say anything when he mentioned the leader of Honduras because he's a narco, but they called out Maduro because he's a communist. Interesting. Okay. Virgo, are you ready for a poll? I've got our options ready. I've got our options ready to go. All right. Poll. Our poll is FBI's pre-crime. No big deal. Nuking Iran. And I said Iran on purpose. Don't clip me. That is how the Republicans say it. ICE getting hyphy. Endless wars in the South and Venezuela. So what if people do evil? Iran. And Iran. Iran so far away. So, Virgo's going to get into the poll, and you're going to vote in the actual poll. It's going to be at the top of your chat. You can yell it too if you want. I think that's fun, but you don't have to. Iran, is this even a question? Everybody said they wanted the illusion of choice today. And I respected that. It was an FBI one is pretty interesting. Yes, and if voting is compulsory, if you do not vote, you get sent to the gulag. You will die. We will kill you. Just kidding. We will re-educate you to teach you about the importance of having a civic duty. We will kill you with knowledge. We will kill the old you that lived inside your body, and a new, beautiful you that is class conscious will emerge. AI guessing machine. I think it's going to be an AI guessing machine. Yeah, that's what I think. That's my guess. That's my pre-crime guesses. I'm pre-criming the FBI. I don't feel so bad today in terms of my allergies, but then I think Zay just heard me and came in here. Hi! Did you guys hear her? Did you hear her? She said meow. Hi, Zay. Hello. You gonna kill me? Yeah, you gonna kill me? She's gonna climb on the computer. I'm gonna move the computer. Sorry, Cece, you can't. Oh, now she's stretching. Hi, hello, little one. She's so cute. I wish I could show you guys. Aww. She said, I kill you. I kill you. Maybe I can, like, look. That's her. My beverage is on the ground. Yeah, you're beautiful. Hi. I know the light's bright, huh? You don't like that? Yeah, it's too much. A little death machine. A little killer. She's nuzzling the microphone. Can you hear her nuzzling the microphone? Yes. Oh, hi, baby. She's so cute. I like her so much. She's so cute. She's snuggling. I know, I love you. I know, yes. Oh. You clipped her nails and she fled? Oh. She doesn't like Fork, but she doesn't hate Fork, which is a big deal for her. So sometimes they'll, like, boop noses and then, like, and that's the extent of their interaction. Very, very cute. Okay, I'm hydrating. Is it something that air? Yeah, nuclear war. Okay, so nuking Iran obviously won. Let's get into what's going on with Iran. I'm going to pull up some more stuff for us. We're going to have some options. Let's see what else. I'm looking up things. Does anybody have any other things they've read about the United States nuking Iran? Oh, okay. We've got some info here. Okay. So. All right. I'm going to start off with this. Okay. We've got this. Trump admitted that the U.S. armed the Iranian protesters. We should pull that up too. Yeah. That's a good one. Yes. We've got it. The Times of Israel is reporting. The Independent is reporting. We've got a lot going on. Okay, so we're going to start off with this. We all saw, first of all, the Truth Social post. We read it. He said he was going to wipe out a whole group of people. Do you think there will ever be a time where you hear crazy stories about the United States and them not being true? No. I'm guessing no. The crimes of Israel. You're on a roll today, Ghost in This Hell. Someone's got to get you a writing job. To kidnap David for Weapons Wednesday? Okay. We can maybe do that. I'll ask David. I will ask David. I will ask. We can see what we get. We can see it. All right, so the White House denied on Tuesday that the U.S. is planning a nuclear strike on Iran. Nothing implies this, buffoons, U.S. says, not considering nukes against Iran. Oh, stupid us. Oh, why would we guess that you were going to nuke Iran when you said that you were going to, what was it, Truth Social, yeah, where is it? When we said a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, I guess we were buffoons for assuming that might mean genocidal nuclear power. You know, I guess we're just dumb for that. Our bad. So U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance warned Iran on Tuesday, hours before President Donald Trump's deadline ended at 8 p.m., that America has, quote, tools in our toolkit that we have so far haven't decided to use. He expressed hope, however, that negotiations would prevent their deployment. Yet, what are the tools? I don't think we have extra tools, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think this is a bluff. Carr found a funny Democrat hit piece on Trump. Oh my God, I hate you. I hate you, Carr. How does it keep happening? I should never open a link from Carr again. God damn it. I know. Visceral. It was impressive technique, TBH. It really was. Now I'm afraid to open everything. I'm afraid to open anything. I live in fear again. You just got me more comfortable clicking on links again. I can't. So, we're over here saying we've got special tricks up our sleeve, getting back into the content, and I don't believe us for a second. Do you believe this? I don't think so. I think we're bluffing because we're losers. Just like the fucking Iran Lego AI video said. I think we're losers. Okay, Professor Morandi, we have an interview. We can watch the beginning of it. Okay, I'll save that for the end, maybe. We can get meta, and I'll post a YouTube video of us watching YouTube videos. That would be interesting. Too comfortable. So, the White House took to X to squash the speculation. That was an account associated with former Vice President Kamala Harris, who said that Vance's remarks implied Trump might use nuclear weapons. The White House said literally nothing. At VP, he said here, implies this, you absolute buffoons. Earlier in the day, Trump issued a big warning to Iran and said that the whole civilization will die tonight. In a post on Truth Social, he said that although he does not want it to happen, it probably will. A whole civilization will die, blah, blah, blah. He said, tonight will be one of the most important moments in world history as 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. The Iranian embassy in South Africa replied to Trump saying, you and your allies will suffer an unforgettable hit from the ancient civilization of Iran. Also, ancient civilization. Well played. Hit us where it hurts, you know? Oh my God, Carr. So, yeah, like, this I think is a big dig at us, because what Iran is saying is, like, we've been here way before the United States ever existed, and we'll be here way after it exists. Like, we're more of a like trustworthy, steadfast entity in human civilization than the United States government is. And that's really what they're saying. And I think that's important to know. When they say from the ancient civilization of Iran, like, you don't know who you're fucking with. Like, we've survived so much, we will survive more, is basically what you're saying. First time chat, hi, welcome. Another Iranian embassy in Turkey also hit back saying a psychopath's threat will not end what time could not. The Post read, Alexander burned it, the Mongols ravaged it, history tested it, Iran is still here. A psychopath's threats won't end what time couldn't. So they're really just like, girl, you're just some other crazy bitch we know. You're some crazy bitch we know. And guess what? We're going to be around way after we forget your name. That's what they're saying. Yeah, Iran said you are flash in the pan and we are eternal. Exactly. So, let's take a look at what NPR, our favorite lived out arm of the two-party duopoly, has to say about this. I'm sure they are not pleased. Trump warns a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran fails to meet his deadline. The president has been escalating his threats over the past weeks to obliterate Iranian bridges, power plants, and water treatment facilities. Wide-scale destruction of infrastructure without distinction between civilian and military objects, no shit, that's what we do, would be considered a war crime under international and U.S. law. Legal experts tell NPR, okay, tell that to Korea, tell that to Vietnam, tell that to Iraq, tell that to Afghanistan, tell that to Libya. Like, come on, this is what we do. The U.S. struck military targets early Tuesday on Karg Island, a U.S. official told NPR. The island is Iran's oil export hub on the Persian Gulf, but the official said the targets were not oil infrastructure. They were restrikes on sites the U.S. hit previously. Virgo's just saying that they're tightening up the mods to make sure that we don't get in trouble. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Virgo, for that, and thank you, everybody, for being a little more conscious of that. You can't believe you used to be a tote bag NPR lesbian? Well, at least you were gay. Imagine the ones that were straight and are still doing it. No excuses. No excuses. I think that you get to be a little bit of a tote bag NPR lesbian, especially because the idea of New England is so nice that, you know, I get the appeal. But being a straight person who's into NPR, there's no excuse for that. You know? At least you were gay. So, in Iraq, an Iranian-backed militia announced it has released American journalist Shelley Kittleson a week after kidnapping her in Baghdad. NPR is working to confirm she is free. Earlier, Iranian officials rejected U.S. demands and presented a plan of their own. Okay, but wait, I want to know who Shelley Kittleson is. What's up with her? Did you guys learn anything about this woman? Why was she kidnapped? An Iraqi militia? What is she a journalist for? What's the New York Times up to? So she was abducted in Baghdad by an Iraqi militia allied with Iran. So they're just people who've worked. Okay, it actually doesn't have much to do with Iran, I don't think. It was Hezbollah tied to Iran's Quds Force, overseas arm of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, alright, got it. Okay, she's known for her courageous reporting from war zones in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, according to the Middle East news site Al Monitor, for which she's a contributor. Do we know about this news site? Does anybody in the chat have any info about this news site? It's based in Washington, D.C. Huh. I want to know. We're not going to find anything. Do you guys know? It's D.C. based. I gotta look. We're going on a little journey because I'm interested in this. What's Crunchbase saying? Are they going to tell us? No, they're not telling us shit. Ugh. I'm like, this is like where my shit kicks in, where I'm like, I have to know everything. About Us by entrepreneur and philanthropist Jamal Daniel. Oh. The founder of Levant Foundation. Huh. Yes, hi, Raiders. Oh, hi, Raiders. Hello, hello. I'm in deep right now. I am researching this woman, Shelley Kittleson, who was kidnapped by an Iraqi militia associated with Iran. Welcome. You stumbled upon some very peak Madeline activity at the moment. First time chat for Ken Smith. Communism in the big 2026, haha, capitalism is the most perfect system in human history. Thanks, first time chat. I've never heard that before. Wow. We have a real genius, a real free thinker in the chat, everybody. Everybody be proud. Wow, great opinion. 10 out of 10 opinion. Okay, so let's find this fucking lady. No, MEB, maybe. Fuck, maybe. Okay, fuck. Great argument. Never thought of it that way. Wow, really gives you lots to think about. Okay, this guy says, for people betting Trump won't use... Wait, why is Trump in quotes? Is it because it's like the idea there would be an institution, not just him? Yeah, making me question everything. Wow, we got a lot to think about from that one. That's going to change everything for me. I know. Okay. They still don't get Trump isn't in charge of everything. Okay, that's why. Okay, so they're saying it's an institution. This is an all or nothing bid by the U.S. to maintain primacy over the planet before losing it permanently. The unelected U.S. corporate financier establishment pushing for war since the inception of America as a nation have already used nuclear weapons twice. They considered using them on Korea, Vietnam, and even as recently as Afghanistan. Do not let the U.S. pin this solely on a single politician. Yes. He's not a unique bad man, or an administration or a U.S. proxy. Make sure everyone involved is blamed and held accountable. This is called compartmentalization. Blah, blah, blah. U.S. literally does this every 48 years with presidents and scores of wars of aggression. It wasn't Clinton, Bush, or Obama's wars. They are Wall Street and Washington wars, every single one of them, no matter who is picked to sell them and take the fall for them. Yes. And this is the thing about American foreign policy. It's a sales pitch. At the end of the day, it's a sales pitch. So, yes. We love it. Oh, is little baby Adam Smith still in the chat? Little baby Adam Smith still in here? Aww. Yeah. Racist capitalist who's obsessed with Adam Smith, banned from the chat. He was a bad troll. We have a rule about trolls here. They gotta be interesting. You gotta be an interesting troll. That, not a very interesting troll. Yeah. When Adam Smith, labor theory of value innovator. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Whatever the case, we got this guy, the founder of the Levant Foundation. I want to know about this guy. Is he the one who funds it? Private Levant Foundation. Okay. Furthering knowledge about Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. This is the guy who owns the newspaper she was reporting for. He also owns this foundation? This is very interesting. It makes grants, we know. Grants made, financials. Huh. All right, so something sketchy, something weird and interesting here with where she works. Sorry, we probably don't have time to get into it a lot today. But there's just something about her. Like American journalist Shelley Kittleson is affiliated with a U.S.-based Middle Eastern reporting network that's attached to some rich guy who also owns a foundation dedicated towards advancing religious understanding. So it's very, very interesting. I don't know. I'm just very fascinated with that. Anyway, let's get back into it. So earlier Iranian officials rejected U.S. demands and presented a plan of their own, and Iran's president said he's willing to die along with millions of Iranians to defend his country. So I don't think they're going to take the deal. So Iran's 10-point proposal included a guarantee that Iran would not be attacked again, an end to Israeli strikes against the Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, removal of sanctions in exchange for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran imposing a $2 million fee for every ship moving through the key waterway. With the clock ticking, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, how do you guys have a pronounce on this? Pezeshkian? We need only the highest quality of trolls. We have high expectations from our trolls. If you want to troll us, we welcome you, but be good at it. That's the only rule. So really step up your game, be funny, hit us where it hurts, bring your A game. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying if you're trolling. So, more than 14 million proud Iranians have so far registered to sacrifice their lives to defend Iran. I too have been, am, and will remain devoted to giving my life for Iran. Wow. So they have 14 million people in their army right now. Pezeshkian's message appeared to be in response to a call by Iran's Deputy Minister of Sports and Youth, who said young people, cultural and artistic figures, athletes should form human chains next to the power plants across Iran. Attacking public infrastructure is a war crime. Okay, so that's what's going on with this. Now, we have people weighing in. This was from March 10th. Nuclear risks related to the war, which I think is interesting. U.S. President Donald Trump continues to allege without evidence that Iran's nuclear program posed an imminent threat. Oh, I wonder if this is just going to be about that, though. Oh, yeah, this is just going to be about Iran. So, no, we're not going to deal with that one. That's not going to be it. And then we have the Georgetown Journal of International Affairs. The war against Iran and global risks. Tell me how this ends. What date is this from? Also, why is this so large? I guess it's good for everybody to read in the chat, though. So they're basically just saying that escalatory action should be avoided and U.S. policymakers should use diplomacy instead of a prolonged war. In a conflict defined by uncertainty, the most prudent course of U.S. policymakers' action is to pursue strategies that carefully manage escalation and reduce the risks of a wider regional global crisis. Spoiler alert, chat, that we did not do that. We did not do that. Hi, Larry. We did the opposite of that. We escalated it, and then we created a prolonged war with wider regional and global implications for crisis. We did that one. We did the opposite of what people said we should do there. Now, in all of this, there's also been some information coming out that seems to confirm that the United States was arming the protesters in Iran. I thought we already knew that. I thought we all already knew that the United States and Israel was doing that, but apparently some people were confused. Al Jazeera being one of them. So they say, has Trump confirmed Iran's claims that protesters were U.S. armed? U.S. President says Washington armed Kurdish Iranian opposition groups during the January demonstrations. That lends credence to Iran's claim that the protests were foreign-inspired. U.S. President Donald Trump says Washington had armed Iranian opposition groups and protesters during mass anti-government demonstrations in December and January, in which thousands of people were killed during crackdowns by government forces. This is from yesterday. So, he did say Washington armed Iranian opposition groups and protesters during those protest movements. This is not surprising to anybody who understands the way the U.S. government works, right? This is what we do. This is the technique I call not our guys. So I always say if you are a novice in understanding geopolitics or foreign policy, if you understand these two concepts, you will be able to quickly identify what's happening in the world as it occurs, and you will be able to have a better grasp on foreign policy than the average person. And it's just if you can identify big bad, not our guys. The first thing is you blow some random leader up into the biggest, baddest, most evil dictator the world has ever known. Ayatollah Khomeini, big bad. They made him a big bad. They were like, he's a big bad. He's torturing women. He hates gay people. He's oppressing everybody. He's a big bad, right? He's the most big bad in the world. And then the second is not our guys. And now somebody, not us, somebody else wants to get rid of him, right? The Iranian protesters. And then, of course, what we actually know is that those are our guys. We paid them, we funded them, we stoked them, we created the conditions for this, we propagandized them. Those are our guys. But we have plausible deniability because they're not U.S. nationals and they're not officially affiliated with our military. We just pay them and give them weapons and tell them where to go. So not our guys, they want to do something about it. And now next thing you know, if we go in, it's to help them. It's not, we just are helping other people who wanted us there. Or they succeed on their own and we had nothing to do with it, and then just randomly the new government that takes hold after we get rid of the big bad happens to be sympathetic to all of our interests. So I always tell people, if you get confused by geopolitics, if you understand these two concepts, big bad, not our guys, you will understand most geopolitics as things occur, right? So this is what happened. So President Donald Trump, Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini's a big bad. Iranian opposition groups, not our guys, are staging protests against him. But in reality, we know that was us. We armed them and we did all that. Yes. So, and thousands of people were killed. Thousands is an accurate number, but it's worth noting that the propaganda sources from the United States and Israel reported like 30,000 people. Iran said it was more like 3,000 people, which is still significant, but is a tenth of what was being reported by propaganda outlets that backed the United States and Israel. So, speaking with Trey Yingst on Fox News in a Sunday morning phone interview, the president said the U.S. had been directly involved in efforts to destabilize and overthrow the Iranian government weeks before strikes were launched on February 28th by the U.S. and Israel across Iran, and as American negotiators were engaging with senior Iranian officials in Europe. After the U.S.-Israel war on Iran entered its 38th day, at least 2,000 people have been killed in Iran and 26,000 injured. And do you guys remember what I told you? I said if this war isn't over in 2 weeks, it's going to last forever. That's what's going on. And the United States is desperately trying for it not to last forever. We're trying to get out of this quickly. And Iran is not giving us the out, which is going on. So, President Trump told me the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters. Yingst reported on the Fox News channel. He told me we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them to the Kurds. And the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. He went on to say we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them. Trump has often framed the decision to strike Iran alongside Israel as partly inspired by his wanting to free Iranians from the rule of the Islamic Republic after it cracked down on those protests in January. But his statements to Yingst could lend weight to Tehran's own assertions that the protests were not organic and foreign-backed terrorists had instigated them. Now, remember a while ago when I did my TikTok, Choose Your Own Adventure? Did you guys see that? You made it! Yay! Your tiny country just discovered it has oil or whatever. This is exactly one of the playbooks from that. Should we watch it again for reference? It's a pretty good video. I like it. It explains this. It's good context. Okay. It's my stream. I'll do what I want. I'll play my own TikToks. Okay, hold on. Let's find it. Oh, I'm on my work account. And people still talk about, like, comment on this video to this day and stuff. So it still is getting, like, some pretty good reach, which is interesting as well. So we're looking for it. Here it is.
Could you successfully run a country without getting cooed by the United States government? Let's do a choose your own adventure and find out together. Uh-oh, your tiny country has just discovered that it has oil, and a lot of it. The United States shows up to your door and says, hey, would you please give your oil to American-backed oil companies for free or next to nothing? Do you A, say, of course, I am terrified of you, and give your oil over? Or B, say, absolutely not, this is our oil, please go away? If you answered A, I regret to inform you, you have just been cooed. ExxonMobil is now your government. Sorry, better luck next time. If you answered B, you live to fight another day. Let's move on. You turn on your TV one day and a man is on screen saying awful things about you. He says that you are a dictator. Maybe you're not even the legitimate leader of this country, and the people of your country yearn for freedom. The kind of freedom that could be provided by selling your oil to the United States. I mean, by opening up your market to the free world and Western democracy. Your aides inform you that this man attended college at Harvard University in the United States, and his wife is a current employee of the U.S. State Department. Additional research confirms that the news station he is speaking on has recently been funded to the tune of $250,000 from a U.S. government agency called the National Endowment for Democracy, an NGO started by the CIA. Great. Do you A, do nothing and allow this man to run against you in the upcoming election, as well as allow this media station to continue reporting as normal? Or B, crack down on the media station, which is clearly operating as an asset of a foreign government, and bar this man, who clearly is an agent of a foreign government, from running for office? If you answered A, I'm so sorry, he won the election because the American government has deep, deep pockets to buy off media in your country. The propaganda was unbeatable. Sorry, you just got cooed by the United States government. That man will now serve as a puppet leader at the behest of American oil companies. If you answered B, though, congratulations, you did not get cooed. You lived to fight another day. It turns out a lot of people are really mad that you ended up silencing that man who was running for office and shutting down all of those media stations that were just parroting Western propaganda. There are protesters storming the streets, and not of the peaceful variety. They're killing journalists, they're killing doctors, heck, they're even killing children. And suspiciously, like, all of their signs are in English, even though most of your country doesn't even speak English. Your intelligence aides inform you that these protesters are, yes, being supported and funded by the US government. That makes more sense. Do you A, do nothing and allow them their constitutionally granted right to freedom of expression? Or B, crack down on these violent protesters swiftly and harshly to make a clear statement that this type of foreign meddling from other powers is not welcome in your country and will be dealt with in a serious manner? If you answered A, I am so sorry, the protesters have stormed the government building you are in, and they have forcefully removed you from office, potentially even murdering you in the process. You have been cooed. The new government they will install will be a puppet government, probably led by that guy from TV, and the strings of the puppet will ultimately be controlled by, yes, the US government and businesses. If you answered B, congratulations, you live to fight another day. Oh no, it turns out the international community is really mad at how harshly you treated those peaceful protesters. They have now agreed to sanction and embargo you. This means that your country no longer has access to the things it needs to keep its citizens alive. No one is allowed to buy your oil in the international community anymore, and you're not allowed to import things you need to live, like medicine or food. You have a small amount of cash reserves and resources on hand. Do you spend them A, feeding your hungry population, or B, building a nuclear weapon? If you answered A, that's very sweet of you. Unfortunately, the United States has waited until you are at your weakest point and has staged a ground invasion to forcefully remove you from office. Okay, yes. Well, I love reacting to myself. I love seeing myself in double screen. The reason why I'm showing you guys this is from January, and this was about Venezuela. But it's not just about Venezuela, right? This is exactly what happened in Iran as well. So the reason I'm showing you this is that you don't have to be good at geopolitics, because we only have a couple of playbooks and we use them over and over and over again. So this is why some people seem like they're able to predict the future, right? That was about Venezuela. It could have been about Cuba. It could have been about Iran. It could be about anywhere. It could be about Korea. It could be about Vietnam, because it's just the one playbook. So when I tell you, if you only remember big bad, not our guys, you will understand most geopolitical issues, and you will understand what's actually happening and who's actually at the root of them most of the time. And so that's why I played that video again. Also just because it's a good video, and I was really proud of myself when I made it. But it's true, and it is relevant to the Iran situation to this day. So when we look at this, and Iran is like, these are not our protesters, this is the United States. And people are like, people who have been journalists on the ground for decades, people who are government analysts, right? People who work in government. You're telling me these people are really surprised by that accusation, that they don't know what we, just your average Marxist who like lives in the United States or reads news about the United States has managed to pick up? No, they know. So it is so disingenuous if we're able to be like, oh yeah, this is the pattern that's occurring months beforehand. They know the United States is probably fucking arming these protesters as well. So the fact that they're like, oh, well, Iran's just claiming this, and then they attempt to discredit it, that's intentional. They're doing that on purpose. They have marching orders to discredit Iran when that happens. So that's the whole context for that I think is really, really, really important. We're not special for being able to anticipate these things in advance, right? We just know because it's the same playbook we use over and over and over again. That's it. It's the one playbook we have. So his statements to Yingst, as we said, could lend weight to Tehran's own assertion that the protests were not organic and were foreign-backed terrorists. They were, and we knew that. And we knew that while it was happening. We knew that, like, in Cuba, we've known that happens as well. In Venezuela, we knew that was happening. It's the same. So,
That's the reason why we're doing that. So what happened during the protest demonstration started on December 28th among shopkeepers in downtown Tehran who were angry about deepening economic crisis and failing value for Iranian real. Also about this, people were mad that the sanctions and embargoes had weakened them economically, the country, very much so. But just the fact that it's shopkeepers in downtown Tehran, like, look at that for propaganda. It's the petite bourgeoisie. Why? Because they yearn for capitalism. That's the narrative. That's why it's important that it's shopkeepers that are the ones who start this. This is the mythology that's being developed to tell you that people yearn for freer markets. People yearn for the great American lifestyle, the great American capitalism. Now, you know, Iran, they're not explicitly like Marxist-Leninist, socialist, right? But it's still about this American way of life. The shopkeeper, the small business owner, that's an American kind of mythology, story, right? About who we are and what we value. So that's very interesting. That's our version, rock and roll and blue jeans. Yeah, it's also the small business owner. So just wanted to point that out. So that's what's going on. So then Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said in a rare acknowledgement on January 17th that several thousands of people were killed in the protests after days of official hedging on casualty numbers and bodies piled up. Again, the United States and Israel claimed it was like 30,000 people. Other countries that were more neutral in this, and Iran itself claimed around 3,000 people. That's probably the most realistic number. However, Khamenei blamed the deaths not on Iranian forces, but on U.S. and Israel-backed groups that he said hijacked the economic protests. I agree with this. Khamenei accused Trump of being a criminal and of being personally involved in the instigation. I agree with this. Also, it's worth noting, we know that on the internet, we talked to some Iranian communists who were like, no, people are legitimately upset, and we thought there could be an opportunity to turn this into a worker protest, get a Marxist-Leninist kind of governing body. But also, it's the same thing that happened in Tiananmen Square. When people have legitimate grievances against their government and they want to change things, the United States gets involved as a foreign agent, complicates things, and tries to push for a United States government agenda. So moments of protest or political uncertainty in a place that's being aggressively targeted by the United States is going to come in and try to hijack that and shift the outcome. So what you end up happening is, let's say you do have Marxist-Leninists in a place who want a Marxist-Leninist worker revolution explicitly. Okay, great. But now they're not only fighting against whatever economic system they have, whatever mode of production they're in. I know that's not really, it's a government and economic system. It's not really just a mode of production. But, they're not only fighting against that, now they're fighting against the United States as well. You give them more obstacles to fight. Right? So, Khamenei blamed the deaths, yes, on the United States and Israel, accused Trump of being a criminal, and this article says Tehran has long blamed its enemies, the U.S. and Israel, for fomenting domestic crises, but alleged this time the U.S. involvement was deeper than usual. I mean, this is true, though, too. We have sanctioned them. We have sanctioned them aggressively. In 1953, we literally overthrew their government and put in a military dictatorship. Missing this context that the United States has been fucking with Iran mercilessly for decades feels intentional and cruel. Those linked to Israel and the U.S. caused massive damage and killed several thousands during the protests that shook Iran for more than 2 weeks, Khamenei was quoted as saying by the state media. So they acknowledged, they're like, yeah, like 3,000 people died. The latest anti-Iran sedition was different in that the U.S. president personally became involved, he added. Iranian officials later admitted the death toll was around 5,000. Oh, okay, so they upped it. So I remember we did the stream, it was around 3,000, so maybe they got up to 5,000, including at least 500 security personnel killed by, quote, terrorists and armed rioters. Okay, so I need to adjust that number when I talk about it. About a week into the crisis, Trump warned Iran against targeting protesters. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. So, and this is exactly like the choose your own adventure. The United States government's really mad that you armed those peaceful protesters, or that you killed those peaceful protesters and cracked down on them. Now what are we doing? Ground invasion. Sanctions first. More sanctions than ground invasion usually. So the order can be a little bit out of order, but that's what happened. Trump literally said they're using the Kurds to arm protesters. That makes sense. So, we are locked and loaded and ready to go, the president added about our rescue on January 13th. He wrote, help is on its way. I mean, again, though, this is just so lazy. This is the same shit we do over and over and over again. Several Iranian Kurdish groups on Sunday denied Trump's claims of arming them during the December and January protests. They've long opposed the government in Tehran and are seeking self-determination. They share close ties with the Iraqi Kurds. But the Iraqi Kurds are like, we're not going to war. We're not getting involved in that. Remember, they were like, we finally have political stability. We're not getting involved in anything happening in Iran. So that's interesting. So several Iranian Kurdish groups banded together in a coalition days before the U.S. and Israel launched the war, but not all of them. Right? So at the time, analysts speculated the U.S. could be trying to support Iranian Kurds to seize parts of Iran bordering Iraq. The aim, they said, could be to create a buffer area that would allow invading Israeli or U.S. ground forces to move in from Iraq. However, so far, neither Israel nor the U.S. has launched ground attacks. Opposition Democrats in U.S. Congress have spoken out against the war, kind of. Haven't they just said that they're mad it didn't get congressional approval? Have there been any Democrats that you guys have seen that have been actually, like, anti the war in general? I haven't seen it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, though. Trump administration has not ruled it out. On Sunday, a senior official to the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan told the Iraqi broadcaster that Trump's statements to Fox were false. Those statements made are baseless. We haven't received any weapons, Mohammad Nasif Qadari was quoted as saying. The weapons we have are from 47 years ago, and we obtained them on the Islamic Republic's battlefield, and we bought some from the market. That's interesting. So, I'm very interested in that. What is the utility in Donald Trump taking credit for that and saying we armed them? Or what is the utility in them denying it if they actually did get armed by the U.S.? I could see benefits going both ways. I could see them wanting to downplay it so it looks like they're more of an independent force. I could see Donald Trump wanting to overstate it to act like whatever wins do happen, we are involved in for ego. You don't think he was supposed to take credit? That could also be, that's Brody's gas. That's interesting. He's just old and forgets. I mean, he really does just say shit out in the open a lot. It's pretty crazy. Very fascinating. He definitely talks too much. Yeah. Interesting. Such statements from Trump are likely to affect the cohesion of Iranian opposition groups and their aim to overthrow Iran's government. So maybe that's why. So maybe we actually did, and then the Iranian Kurds are like, no, we didn't, because that allows them to better and more effectively work with their neighbors, because their neighbors probably hate the United States too. That's interesting, though. That's an interesting point of contention that we can only speculate on. And this is an article from the Times of Israel. I'm very upset. Trump says U.S. tried to arm Iranian protesters, but guns were diverted. After earlier blaming the Kurds for taking the guns for themselves, U.S. President says certain groups of people will pay a big price for that. It's very fascinating. So this is just recapping what happened. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them, Trump went on. They said, what a beautiful gun. I think I'll keep it. He literally said, what a beautiful gun. What a beautiful gun. The sexiest gun. The best gun. The hottest gun. Adding, so I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they're going to pay a big price for that. And he runs it like the mob, really. He's like, I'm going to make an example out of you for taking my beautiful gun. More genocidal intention proof? Yeah? Someone based wrote about this. Smash Ultra, what are you guys talking about in there? Post-revolution, are we looking at Stalin? Maybe we'll keep that up in case we have time. Maybe I get a little Stalin as a treat on a Tuesday? Theory on a Tuesday? What's happening here? Everything's wild. You don't trust Marxists who want to start a revolution while Iran is fighting U.S., EU, NATO imperialism. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And I understand their intentions, where they're like, because, look, I just posted my podcast episode about Yugoslavia, and literally, Yugoslavia got a socialist revolution because it was fighting off Nazis, but it's because the existing government had fled, and only the communists were left, and the communists successfully fought off the Nazis, and in doing so, just as Stalin said, needed to set up their own government force in order to handle the fascists that they captured, killed, or expelled, So it's very, very interesting how Yugoslavia's revolution came about as a result of that, and it is very based on how Stalin talked about your new government will come from the instruments that you use to oppress the bourgeoisie when your revolution happens. But their revolution happened to be during World War II while they were fighting off the Nazis. So, I think that it's very interesting. So I could see why Iranian Marxist-Leninists might be like, oh, in any conflict, there's an opportunity for us to be victorious. However, the existing government of Iran does have a stronghold. They're not fleeing. They're not running anywhere, right? So I'm not going to judge any Marxists in Iran. I'm not going to judge any Marxist-Leninists in Iran. for that strategy. I don't know. They are better going to understand the conditions for revolution where they are and the timing and all of that. I feel like I'm not a person to judge that. But I just want to say there is some historical basis for times of great conflict also accidentally, simultaneously being a worker revolution, which is just interesting to add to the mix as a thought. So, okay. Trump continued his verbal attacks against the Kurds on Monday, which, by the way, the only way we were ever going to win a ground invasion would be with the Kurds. So it's a very interesting choice to just start talking shit about the Kurds, who were like our only last hope if we did a ground invasion. Very, very interesting. Oh, Kubashi. Okay, well, I'll open this one too. These would be good if we do this. This is interesting. So why are we dunking on the only people who would potentially save us? Whatever. He said, I'd rather have them stay away because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. They bring death to themselves about the Kurds. We were begging the Kurds, though. He was just with Netanyahu a couple weeks ago, begging the Kurds to come help them. And that's when Iraq was like, no, babe, we're settled. We're not getting involved in your bullshit. And Iranian Kurds, some of them were like, maybe. So that's very, very interesting. According to Channel 12 investigative report published last week, the U.S. and Israel had planned for Kurdish militia forces to invade Iran early in the ongoing war. Yes, hoping to spur a rebellion that would bring down the Islamic Republic. But leaks to the media, lobbying by allies, and wariness among the Kurds themselves led Washington to pull the plug on the idea. Yeah, they weren't into it. Not all of them were into it. It was smaller numbers. And you guys remember when we did the stream and Netanyahu told Trump, like, all of the Kurds are going to be super into helping us, man. Don't even worry. And then they met with them, and like 4 of the Kurds were kind of into helping them, and it like did not go as Netanyahu had said, which is interesting to talk about in consideration with this also. So, okay. Now we have a Middle East Eye story here. U.S. was arming Iranian dissidents through Kurds while negotiating with Tehran, Trump reveals. This is the same exact story. Let's see if there's anything interesting adding. The admission confirms earlier reports that the CIA was working to arm Iranian Kurdish forces. Trump said on March 5th it would be wonderful if Iranian Kurdish forces in Iraq crossed the border and attacked the Iranian government. But they have to enter through Iraq, I guess. And that's why it was a problem that the Iraqi Kurds were like, no, I'm not interested. Yeah, Kurds said no to puppets. These later is more cautious. We're very friendly with the Kurds, as you know, but we don't want to make the war any more complex than it already is. I have ruled that out. I don't want the Kurds going in. But this is him trying to save face again. I think the Kurds said no. And he was like, okay. And this is us trying to save face, right? Like, we decided not to. I think they decided mostly not to, right? So, very interesting. Trump's admission reveals the U.S. was far more heavily involved in seeking to destabilize the Iranian government at the very moment its diplomats were engaged in back-channel talks with Tehran. And that's what's interesting, too, is that we were in the middle of diplomatic negotiations with Iran while all this was happening. And that's why Iran is like, you're fucking snakes. We're not going to negotiate with you about shit, right? Iran is now forced to use game theory and assume that the other side should not be talked to. This is how the United States has always participated in global affairs, according to Jeffrey Sachs, a lot of what he talks about. So this is fascinating as well. Oh, you guys are talking about the joint statements with CPUSA and the Tudeh Party and the Israel Marxist-Leninist Party. Yeah, it was a little weird. That was a little weird. Made me be like, oh, okay, I'm not recommending CPUSA for a bit till they fix their stuff. Jeffrey Sachs, one of your favorite economists. What I think is really interesting about Jeffrey Sachs is that he destroyed the USSR. He was like, we need to do shock therapy treatment to the USSR economy in the transition to capitalism. And it fucked with people. It killed people. It's horrible for people, right? But it's like something has happened. I almost feel like, this is parasocial of me with Jeffrey Sachs, it seems like that experience was a big aha teaching moment for him. And as he gets older, he just like preaches about the evils of neoliberalism now, which is very, very fascinating. And it almost gives him more credibility because he was the evils of neoliberalism for so long, which is interesting. Yeah, CPUSA are corporate landlords. I don't know if you guys know that. Do you guys know that? Yeah, they're corporate landlords. In New York, yeah. Okay, so first time chat. Do we think other nations will actually negotiate with Iran at the exclusion of the U.S.? Yes, and we're seeing they already are. We actually have an article pulled up. We're going to look at, actually, I'll keep that one pulled up, actually. That was kind of just laid it out nice. Get rid of this Truth Social thing. Where is it? I had an article pulled up about it. So basically, other, let me look. Okay, so this one, which countries are getting through the Strait of Hormuz and how? They're doing negotiations with Iran. That's how they're getting through the Strait of Hormuz, right? London's Best Gate, no, not the same way I'm a landlord. They actually are corporate landlords. CPUSA owns a commercial building in New York City. So they are landlords, but they're commercial landlords, which I do think is less evil. I didn't know about the apartments, Bifflo. I thought it was just commercial spaces. I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, find the link. I want to see that. That's interesting to me. All right, yeah, so this is what we know. Some countries are doing private negotiations with Iran without us. So who is able to get through the Strait of Hormuz then, basically? Let's take a look. Countries that rely on the strait to take care of the situation, grab it and cherish it, but those nations have largely instead pursued diplomatic resolutions. So the diplomatic resolutions would be Japan, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands, and the UK, who issued a statement seeking appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait through diplomatic. So other nations include China, India, Pakistan, Russia, Iraq, Malaysia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. Big Gutco. The fleas cost extra. First time chat, hello. Hi. Guys, let me know. Make sure that when Bifflo gives the link, somebody highlight something in purple so I see it. Me and CPUSA. This is the problem with being a history buff. You're like, the history of the party's so amazing. Yeah, the history of it. But again, I know actual Marxist-Leninists organizing in CPUSA trying to fix it. I commend them. Okay, we're talking about CPUSA being landlords, and we're talking about Iran still. We're talking about countries that are negotiating with Iran independently. Turkey also has been negotiating with them independently. So that was to answer that chatter's question about who would be potentially negotiating with Iran outside of the United States. So these protests ultimately were crushed, and it resulted in, this article says, hundreds being killed. Trump told Yanks that Iranian authorities killed more than 40,000 civilians in the crackdown, but there's no evidence of this claim. Right now we know Iran says it was like 5,000 people, including armed forces, though. So that's fair. Separately, Trump gave more details to Axios about the rescue of an American F-15 crew member shot down over Iran on Friday. Somebody on... Who is it on TikTok that has a conspiracy theory that was a failed attempt to extract enriched uranium? It's one of our mutuals that was like, okay, call me tinfoil, but I have this conspiracy theory. And I'm like, this is actually not a bad theory. Have you guys seen it? Because you guys remember we talked about this. The downed pilots from the airplane. Hang in there, Django. I know Django's fighting the good fight. I have some other mutuals too in CPOSA. Oh, Iranian officials also theorized that. Oh, okay. All right. Traction. The idea has traction from multiple sources. You have an article about it. Send me. Send it to me. Oh, okay. All right. This is from yesterday. So this person was early to it, but lots of people had the thought. Iran raises suspicion of uranium theft plot after clashes with U.S. forces. Okay. Recent U.S. military operations inside Iran may have been met as a cover to seize the country's enriched uranium, a spokesman said following a series of clashes linked to attempts to rescue downed American personnel. There were many ambiguities surrounding the operations. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Bagai told a Monday press conference, adding that the location where a U.S. pilot was reportedly present in southwestern Iran was far from the area where U.S. forces tried to deploy or conduct operations. Okay, so this is interesting. Should we try to find the video and timestamp it? I wonder when it happened. Who was it? It was Nick. It was Nick. Let's see when Nick came up with this. I'm going to see if I can find it. I like Nick. I like everybody, though. If you just say you're a Marxist, I like you. I'm really easy. I'm too trusting. It was very funny. I like everyone. I like all the Marxists. Sometimes people be like, I only have 140 followers. Why'd you follow me on TikTok? And I was like, I don't know. I just saw you on my free page and you're a Marxist. So I was like, okay. All right. Where is next? Tinfoil hat. Okay, so maybe Nick already knew. Okay. But we'll watch it. Maybe I just saw this first, but it wasn't actually first.
Ton of information to sift through with the rescue operation.
Thanks, sorry. Hi. So this is actually from the 5th. So it came out a day before the article we were just reading. So before it went public that Iranian officials suspected this, other people were coming up with the same conclusion as well. So everybody kind of came up with this around the same time and then all shared it at the same time, which is interesting. Okay.
I think it was cover for a botched operation to try to get the uranium. Let's start with the guy they rescued. This is where the jet apparently went down. He was apparently rescued here. Just for the record, we don't know his name and we can't see him, which is interesting. This is a distance of 110 miles. He apparently traversed this in 24 hours. That's about 4.5 miles per hour. No resting, no water, nothing. Here's wreckage of a C-130 and a Blackhawk. Or two, I don't know. That kind of looks like two. This is from a New York Times article and it says the U.S. military blew up 2 planes instead of letting them fall into Iranian hands. That doesn't make any sense. Commanders decided to fly in 3 new planes? He found the pilot where Iran's primary uranium stockpile is? But we bombed the area too. Why would we Hannibal directed it? That would explain why the 2 C-130s, or 1, or Blackhawk, or whatever, that would explain why they were destroyed without loss of life. That they were destroyed during the operation. Oh man, it's just... Some random Twitter account geolocated the landing strip that they apparently used, and this would lend more credence to the fact that it was a botched operation. They landed on an old agricultural runway and thought no one would see it. And this is what Iranian media says when publishing the charred wreckage. Iran says they destroyed this equipment during a failed U.S. rescue attempt. So was the rescue attempt to rescue people that they used to extract the uranium and failed to do it? And then the U.S. says it destroyed its own and still rescued them. I don't know. I wish I had answers. I'm sorry. We're just gonna have to wait. I'll probably post something early tomorrow morning. Hopefully we get a little bit more information. But
okay, yeah. So I saw this, and then the next day we're getting stories like this coming out. That Iran thinks so too. So thank you for the chatter who shared the story. I didn't see that other people were saying this as well, and Iran was suspecting this as well. So very, very interesting. Yes. Oh, we have an interesting troll. We have an interesting form of racism against Kurdish people now in the chat. Fascinating. Fascinating. All right, that's for later if we have time. I don't know if we'll have time though. All right, so this is what was going on with this downed, the rescue of an American 15 crew member shot down over Iran. So Trump's language in describing the search for the downed airman drew immediate condemnation. Referring to ordinary Iranians, he told Axios, thousands of these savages were hunting him down. Even the population was looking for him. They offered people a bonus if they captured him. Not the savages. Not the savages. This is wild. I didn't see that one. I missed that one. We could probably get a TLDR of the video actually from this article I just closed. We can read it. So, on April 2nd, this is the TLDR of the video. Iran sent it down to U.S. fighter jet, and U.S. officials confirmed that they lost an F-15 in the area, and 1 crew member was rescued, but another they were trying to find. And then Iran said that the United States deployed helicopters into the region to look for him, and that 2 helicopters were targeted by Iran. And then basically the area where they decided this guy was like 100 miles away from where the United States entered Iran to try to find him, which was suspicious. And let's see if we find that. So people think that maybe, that the United States was going in to this area that was nearby instead to try to extract enriched uranium. Right? Kairos Rev says, I think it's possible the CIA will create a video faking a successful theft of Iran's enriched uranium. That would serve as us justifying the war. Oh, at which point Iran wouldn't have nuclear materials anymore and their nuclear sites would be bombed out. If Iran tries to out the video as fake, Western media would be instructed to cast doubt on Iran's claims as copium. That's actually an interesting idea. I could see that. Because what we just need is an optical win, right? We know this. We're just in over our heads. We did not expect this. We're in too deep, and we just need an optical win at this point. We don't even need a material win. Just because what's going to look like we projected strength and not weakness. And that's really the goal. That's really the goal, right? You believe Iran made a Lego video response to this as well, to the idea that the United States was trying to steal enriched uranium? Really? We could look it up. Yes? I'm looking. Oh, they did. Oh my God. They work so fast.
In the middle of escalating tensions between the United States and Iran.
Just show me the video. Why would they not just show me the video? Do you think they will? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe I just have to get through it. We're gonna give it a second. Let's give it a second. Let's give it a shot.
Iran, a dramatic war of narratives has now taken a digital turn. Iran has released a striking new video, created in a Lego-style animation, mocking a recent high-risk U.S. military rescue operation deep inside Iranian territory. The video, widely circulated by Iranian state...
We're not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it this way. What's the difference in volume? Am I too quiet, or is it... Or am I too loud? Am I yelling at you? Am I yelling at you guys? Video loud. Oh, I can turn it down. The other day, our videos were really quiet, so I maxed out the volume of it. Sorry. Okay, I'm finding a lot of people talking about it, but I am not finding the video. Watch on X. I will. I will watch on X. Thank you. Thank you, Internet.
They said it was a rescue, but it was a heist. Uranium heist, uranium heist. Tried to steal our uranium in the dead of night. Commandos, Rangers, Black Hawks in the fight failed miserably, just like Tabas, right? They flew deep into ice for hunt, thought we wouldn't see. Special forces, excavators trying to take our enriched uranium for free. Attacked our defenses, tried to seize the ground, but we lit them up. Now the birds are down. See one tuffy gone, Black Hawks burning in the sand. 600 million wasted on a failed master plan. They called it a rescue, but the world knows the truth. They came for our uranium. That's the real proof. We said it clear, this wasn't random at all. They wanted our nuclear material, that was the goal. Deep into our territory under constant threat, but they got exposed. Now the whole world sees their regret. Failed like Tabas, history repeating again. Superpower embarrassed, losing more than just man. You try to rob us in the middle of the war, now you're running scared. We laugh from afar, sacred defense. Uranium safe. Stop running away, keep your boots on the ground. Yeah.
Stop running away, keep your boots on the ground is wild. This is like me in a Twitter fight where I keep attacking someone after they've stopped responding. I'm like, where'd you go? Come back, I thought we were talking. Where'd you go? It's literally Iran. They're like, where'd you go? Send them back down. Send them back down here. We're here. Send them down. Stop running. Where are you going? This is wild. This really is the media portion of this war. That loser Kim is correct. Is Trump tweeting versus Lego videos. Wild. The Lego slop is working on me. It's getting me. I'm liking the Lego slop. I also like that it was posted by someone named Persia Boy with an I. You know, it is strange times we live in. Quality slop. Do you think that they had slop like this during World War I, but like in newspaper edition? Do you think that we were getting slop of this nature? High quality slop. Yeah. That went hard on the car stereo? Oh, I bet it did. Oh, I'm so jealous. Wow. Okay, so we got this other article. This is from a month ago. That was the CIA working to arm Kurdish forces to spark an uprising in Iran, according to sources. Yes. The tankies are right again. We knew this. The CIA declined to comment for the story. But we knew, and now Donald Trump's like, yeah, we did that. Everybody knows. The United States was trying to get the Kurds to go in and do some overthrow of the Iranian government. Yeah, Persia Boy. Yes. So, yes, we were correct. A month later, we're vindicated. Trump says the U.S. sent a lot of guns to arm Iranian protesters, but believes the Kurds took them. Okay, whatever that means. I guess it's also possible that we actually gave guns to the Kurds, and then now we're trying to be like, no, we didn't. We just gave them to people in Iran to help them with their protests, and the Kurds took them. That could be also one of the reasons we're saying this, even though we actually gave them to the Kurds directly. That could be a potential reason for this as well. Maybe. So, somebody from the chat sent this, the war game that terrified the Pentagon in 2002. Now, I've seen people talk about this, but I haven't actually seen this, so let's talk about this. Iran first sent a 4-page letter, but now they dialed the intellectual weight down to American levels. Yes, they really did. This was your link. Bifflo sent it. Bifflo, you've been coming with some good links lately. So, in the summer of 2002, the United States military conducted what was then the largest and most expensive war game in its history, Millennium Challenge 2002. I think we did talk about this, actually, because if I'm remembering correctly, the United States lost so hard that they got mad, and they told the guy who was in charge of the Iran version, or the Iran side of the war game, to, dumb it down so they could win, and he was just like, no, fuck this, I'm out, if I remember correctly. So, Millennium Challenge 2002, as it was officially designated, cost approximately $250 million and involved 13,500 participants across multiple locations. So we spent $250 million running a war simulation. But you can't get healthcare or housing. The exercise was designed to validate revolutionary concepts about network-centric warfare and demonstrate that American technological superiority would prevail against any conceivable adversary. What happened instead sent shockwaves through the Pentagon's corridors and raised questions that defense planners are still grappling with more than 2 decades later. Also, I'm just going to put this out here. I don't know a lot about war or war strategy, but I do think having the job of simulating the enemy in a U.S. war strategy game would be fun. I think that would be a rewarding game. I think that would be enjoyable. Yeah. Right? Like, just that's your job. Just try to fight us. All simulated. I love this. So, the story of the Millennium Challenge 2002 is not simply a tale of military embarrassment or institutional failure. It's a story about the tension between assumption and reality. True. So poetic, militarymachine.com. Between what institutions want to believe and what rigorous testing can reveal. It illuminates how war games function, what they can and cannot prove, and why their most valuable lessons often come wrapped in uncomfortable outcomes. Hello. The controversy that erupted after the exercise, along with their quieter debates that continued for years afterwards, reveals as much about how militaries think as it does about the specific tactics employed. Understanding what actually occurred during Millennium Challenge 2002 requires moving beyond simplified narratives that have circulated for years. The exercise has become something of a legend in military circles, often invoked to prove various points about American overconfidence, asymmetric warfare, or the limitations of technology. But the real lessons are more nuanced and more relevant to contemporary military challenges than the popular accounts suggest. This article examines the war game in detail, why it was created, how it was designed, what the Red Team, the opposing force, actually did, how the Pentagon responded, and what the exercise ultimately revealed about American military thinking at a pivotal moment in history. That's right, because the Red Team was not explicitly Iran. It was just like a general adversary from the region the United States calls the Middle East, right? But it was like Iran. That was like the idea. So the goal is not to render judgment, but to understand what happened and why it mattered, both then and now. As our analysis of how military exercises actually work demonstrates, exercises expose thinking more than they predict outcomes. Millennium Challenge 2002 exposed a great deal. Oh. The story begins not in 2002, but in the years immediately following the Cold War, when American military planners faced a fundamental question. Having built the most powerful conventional military in human history to deter and defeat the Soviet Union, what should that force become in a world without a peer competitor? The answer that emerged would not only shape Millennium Challenge 2002, but the trajectory of the American military development for decades to come. Why the war game was created. Okay, this is a little less interesting to us. The collapse of the Soviet Union left the American military establishment without a defining opponent. David talks about this a lot on our podcast. Dave is just like, oh, they must have been so sad that they lost their little buddy, their little enemy, right? Very fascinating. The 90s became a period of intense institutional introspection as the services attempted to find their purpose in a unipolar world. Transformation is understood in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Hello, test message. We see you, Eden Versailles. Promised that information technology would revolutionize warfare. These ideas had powerful advocates within the Defense Department and the new Bush administration, including Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, who was determined to transform the military away from Cold War structure towards smaller... Yay, welcome. Yay, yay, yay. Towards smaller, more agile forces optimized for rapid deployment and decisive operations. So the scale of the game was ambitious. It combined live field activities, actual ships, aircraft, and ground units conducting operations. Do you guys remember there was this like Kelsey Grammer movie maybe about this, about like a war game in the Navy? I think it was called Down Periscope. Up Periscope, Down Periscope. This is my only reference point for those. It was about a war game thing. So they did this, and they also had computer simulations that modeled aspects impossible to replicate physically. You just watched it the other day. What was it called? Up Periscope? Down Periscope? Down Periscope, yes. This is a 1996 comedy that I used to like when I was a kid, but I'm sure that it is probably very politically incorrect today in some ways. But it is about a war game simulation, and it's very funny. So this is my only reference point for those. The timing was significant. The exercise was conducted in July and August of 2002 as the Bush administration debated whether to invade Iraq. So how the game was designed, right? The exercise divided participants into 3 cells. The blue team represented American and coalition forces employing the latest transformation concepts. They controlled a carrier battle group, amphibious forces, and substantial air assets, all networked together through cutting-edge command and control systems. The blue team's objective was to establish dominance in the exercise area and defeat the adversary's military capabilities while minimizing American casualties. The red team represented the adversary, a regional power with significant conventional military forces, asymmetric capabilities, and geographic advantages. The red team controlled land-based anti-ship missiles, small boat swarms, submarines, and ground forces positioned to resist an American intervention. Their objective was to deny the blue team access to the region and inflict unacceptable costs on any attempted intervention. The white cell served as the exercise control group, managing the simulation, adjudicating combat outcomes, and ensuring the exercise achieved its objectives. The white cell's role was theoretically neutral, determining what would happen when blue and red forces interacted based on established models and professional judgment. In practice, the role would prove more complicated than anticipated. Chat going chat. Okay. The exercise design incorporated numerous assumptions about how the conflict would unfold. The blue team would achieve information dominance early, using network sensors to locate and track red forces. Blue would then use precision strikes to systematically destroy red's anti-access capabilities, including missiles, radars, and command centers before committing ground forces. The pace would be rapid, the casualties minimal, and the outcome decisive. This was transformation theory in action. So just again to say, what they were going to do is use precision strikes to destroy anti-access capabilities like their missiles, radars, command centers, and then bring in ground forces. So, the exercise assumed that Blue, the United States, would have a period of relatively uncontested buildup before major combat operations again, right? Wasn't that it? Blue Team US? Yeah. It assumed Blue's network-centric capabilities would function as advertised and provide a coherent picture of the battle space. It also assumed Red, the enemy, would fight in ways that allowed Blue to exploit its technological advantages by engaging in conventional military operations where precision weapons could find and destroy targets. Blue, good. Red, bad. You know, I'm a communist though. I'm like, red, good. Who wouldn't want to be red? Why doesn't everybody want to be the red team? Why would they choose to be the blue team? I don't get it, but whatever. MEB, U.S. General Kane on the rescue mission. Every Iranian who had a small gun was shooting at us. Okay, we gotta watch this. Hold on. We're gonna watch this after. We got a little build up of stuff here. So, simulations are never neutral. The models that determine combat outcomes embed assumptions about weapon performance, crew proficiency, environmental conditions, and countless other factors, right? So the red team approach, let's get into this. We had Lieutenant General Paul Van Riper, who was a retired Marine Corps officer with extensive combat experience in Vietnam and command experience throughout his career. He was leading the red team, so this should be our guy, right? Van Riper, what do we have? Do we have a weirdo in the chat or what? Why is chat infiltrated? You know, it's just because we're popular and attractive and smart and funny. They want to be us. They want to know. They want to be us. It's okay. They're jealous. We might get more. That's true in the future. We're just too, you know, we're the most beautiful chat. We're the most brilliant chat. We're the smartest chat. We're the hottest chat. Of course they're going to come. They hate us. They can't debate us. That's so true. So Van Riper, we haven't given homework in a while. Yeah, let me know if you guys want a homework assignment and I can give somebody a homework assignment. So Van Riper was known for aggressive, unconventional thinking, qualities that would prove consequential for how Millennium Challenge unfolded. Their chat history seems pretty reasonable. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe save it for later and we can do that on a different day. We can talk about Czechoslovakia. That might be good. His approach to the exercise reflected not just tactical creativity, but a fundamentally different theory of how a weaker power might fight a stronger one. I have to sit all weird because Zay's where the computer goes, but I know if I put my computer down, she's going to lay on it, and then she's going to attack me. Ah! Like, she just knocked it over. Do you see this? Like, can you see her? That's her. She just knocked over my laptop screen. Just sit under the ear. I know. I like her. I like Zay. I'm a fan of Zay. Okay. Hi, hello, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so beautiful, Zay. She's gonna kill me. I'm feeling more congested. Can you guys hear it? Can you hear it? She speaks so cute. It's crazy. I wish you could see her. She's a beautiful creature. She's on her back with her paws up and she's like pushing her head against me. Okay, so Van Riper recognized that fighting on blue team's terms meant losing. American forces possessed overwhelming advantages in network sensors, precision weapons, and information systems. Okay, so this guy, Van Riper, who had experience in Vietnam, I think what's important, I'm going to guess, is that he had experience fighting guerrilla warfare. He had experience fighting smaller, less armed guerrilla warfare units in Vietnam. And we got our shit rocked, right? Well, he knew the United States, that's not how we win. So he went into it saying that if we fight on the United States terms, we're going to lose. And he knew the strengths and advantages that the United States had, like any military commander would. So any adversary that engaged in the kind of conventional standoff conflict that Blue's capabilities were optimized for would inevitably be detected, tracked, and destroyed. The key insight was that Red did not have to fight that war. Instead of relying on electronic communications that Blue's signals intelligence could intercept, Van Riper used motorcycle couriers and light signals to coordinate his forces. Instead of activating radars that Blue could detect and target, he relied on visual observers and pre-positioned spotters. So he was like, our technology is so not there, we're actually going to go lower tech. we're going to go no tech as much as possible, which is super, super interesting. Instead of massing his forces where Blue's sensors could find them, he dispersed them among civilian infrastructure where they would be difficult to distinguish from legitimate traffic. This was not high technology. It was asymmetric adaptation. His tactical approach flowed from this operational concept. Van Riper planned to use his anti-ship cruise missiles, but not in the ways that Blue expected. Rather than engaging in a predictable sequence of detection, targeting, and firing that Blue could encounter, he intended to launch a massive coordinated salvo before Blue had achieved the information dominance the exercise assumed. He would supplement this with swarm attacks from small boats, civilian speedboats, fishing vessels, anything that floated, loaded with explosives, and volunteers willing to sacrifice themselves. This was the logic of suicide bombing applied at sea. No, I'm an atheist. Van Riper understood that American military culture prioritized minimizing casualties, particularly early in a conflict before public support had solidified. By inflicting significant losses quickly before the American public fully understood what was at stake, he could potentially undermine the political will necessary to sustain the intervention. I have a proper desk, but she jumps on that too. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about it. This is actually so smart. Like, he's going after the psychology of the American public, which is very, very intelligent too. He really learned why they lost in Vietnam, I guess. Right? He really learned. So, when the exercise began, Van Riper did not wait for Blue Team to complete its buildup and achieve information dominance. As soon as the scenario allowed, he launched his attack. The results, as adjudicated by the White Cell based on the exercise's model, were catastrophic for Blue. According to reports that emerged after the exercise, the Red Team's coordinated attack sank a substantial portion of the Blue Team's naval force, including an aircraft carrier and several amphibious ships. The exact numbers vary in different accounts, but the scale of simulated losses was significant, potentially representing thousands of casualties had the engagement been real. In a matter of simulated hours, Van Riper had demonstrated that a determined adversary using asymmetric tactics could inflict damage the transformation proponents had assumed impossible. Emote only chat. The mechanism was straightforward. Van Riper's forces launched their anti-ship missiles and small boat attacks before. This was before Blue achieved the sensor coverage and definitive posture that the exercise assumed would be in place. Blue's network-centric systems were optimized to detect and track conventional military activities like radar emissions, electronic communications, naval formations. But Van Riper's low-tech approach, remember, motorcycle couriers and fishing boats, denied Blue the signatures these systems were designed to exploit. Small boat swarms in particular presented a problem Blue was not configured to solve. Dozens of targets appearing suddenly at close range, mixed with civilian traffic moving too fast for methodical engagement. This is really, really, really interesting. Water. Alright, so the Red Team destroyed. And this was meant to symbolize something like Iran, basically. And they had to reset it, which is so, so funny. What the war game revealed and didn't. It's very, very interesting because it's the assumption that American forces would have time to build up their technology. And I think, though, what's really interesting from this that they mentioned is that people who have nothing to lose fight different, right? People with nothing to lose fight dirty. They fight fast. They will go in for suicide bombings. They are fighting for a cause. They are fighting for something that the average U.S. soldier just isn't. The average U.S. soldier just doesn't care that much, right? It's not even in their home. It's not their territory. They're just doing it as a job so they get, like, free college and a 0% interest home loan, or $0 down, not even 0% interest, $0 down home loan in the future. That's not enough for you to really fight creative or dirty or intense for. That's not enough for you to actually want to put your life on the line for. Which I think is something that affected the Vietnam War heavily, obviously, and is affecting this too. Like, Iran is fighting for their independence. They're fighting for their sovereignty. They're fighting to not be taken over by the United States again. And they have a history of being taken over by the United States. They know what that looks like and they don't want it, right? So Bifflo says they reset the games so the Red Leader quit the games and wrote a 21-page report about why the games were a failure and the report got classified. Thank you for the TLDR. Wow. So good. All right, so let's watch this now. Every Iranian who had a small gun was shooting at us. This is from yesterday.
هر کسی در ایران که یک تفنگ کوچک داشت دست گرفته بود و داشت به سمت هلیکوپترهای ما شلیک میکرد.
That's it. That's it. That's all it says. Okay, got it. Yeah, Iran is fighting for their existence, Amibe says. U.S. Israel soldiers are fighting because they're told. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Europe, I'm a Marxist-Leninist. I am a socialist and a communist. So all communists are socialists, but not all socialists are communists. Yes, that's me. All right. We also have this other interview that's an hour long, so somebody recommended it from the chat. We'll watch a few minutes of it so everybody can see if they want to watch more of it on their own time.
Hi, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, and our dear friend, our brother, Professor Marandi is here with us. Welcome back, Professor.
Thank you, Nima. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's always a great pleasure.
Let me start, Professor Marandi. The footage that I played for you is from Iran right now. What is happening in Iran? Donald Trump is threatening Iranian people, but you see what is happening in Iran. People are on the streets they're supporting the policies of the government. They know that they have to fight and there is no other option. They have to fight until the end. But Professor Marandi, let me start with what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, said. He posted that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. He's basically talking about, Professor Marandi, using nuclear weapons, because it was reiterated by Vice President of the United States, who is in Hungary supporting Orban. And he said the same thing. There are tools that haven't been used by the United States, basically talking about nuclear weapons. Your reaction to what has happened and what Donald Trump is the way that Donald Trump is trying to intimidate Iranians?
Well, Nima, let me be very clear about everything. We are Shia Muslims, and we have an infinite faith in God. And we know that the path that we've chosen is the right path. Our sin is that we support the Palestinian people, not because we're from the same clan, not because we're from the same race, not because we're from the same sect, not because we have the same language, and not because we're even neighbors, because they're victims. They've been victims for many decades. And now they're being slaughtered. And the West supports this slaughter. The collective West is behind the slaughter. The liberal democracies, as they like to call it, they fully endorse the slaughter. They will do whatever is possible to make it happen, to allow it to happen. Just like when Trump says that Iran will be obliterated and none of the Western media says anything, whether it's his opponents or his supporters, whether it's the Guardian or the Times in London, whether it's the New York Times or Breitbart, doesn't make a difference. When he says that he will send Iran back to the Stone Age, no one in the West is outraged. You do not see the Washington Post outraged. You do not see MSNBC outraged. Just like with Cuba, they starve the country. Just like with Syria, they enable ISIS and Al-Qaeda. The political establishment, when it comes to empire, they are brutal and immoral. So they are crushing the Palestinian people. For 2.5 years, the Palestinian people have been enduring genocide. And the only thing that stands between their complete annihilation, their extermination, is the axis of resistance. It is the Islamic Republic of Iran and its regional allies. That is our sin, but we cannot forsake the Palestinian people. It is not doable. It is not possible. We'd rather die standing than live or die on our knees. It's just not a choice that we can accept. I've discussed this on your show before, that we have a deep connection with what the Prophet's grandson did in Karbala, in defiance of the despot of his era. Hussein stood up against the tyrant of the time, and he and his companions were all martyred for the sake of what was right. And his sister continued the cause. This is deeply embedded in our culture. That is why you see men and women on the streets at night under missile fire. They target them with their missiles. As I told you last week, just near where I am now, I think I explained this last week, that a woman was murdered when they fired a missile at one of these crowds. They fire missiles at crowds. And the Western media and Western elites are completely indifferent. They justify it. If they had any humanity, one of these Western journalists with all their followers would have tweeted, "This is outrageous. We are committing crimes against humanity." Have you seen a single important Western journalist over the last week express outrage at the threat of bringing about the greatest Holocaust by far in human history? Have you seen any of these journalists at CNN or MSNBC or Sky News or the BBC? In fact, the BBC is so sinister, so evil, that one of their journalists claimed that people inside Iran are saying you can use nuclear weapons against us. Utterly evil. The BBC is utterly evil. It was always like this. I know. I've been dealing with the media for all these years.
Okay, so sorry, I was on my phone checking notifications. TikTok's going crazy today. But yeah, this is a really, really good video. So this was sent to us by Bifflo. I'm gonna give you guys a tiny roll because it's an hour-long video. So obviously we don't have time to watch the whole thing right now because I gotta jump off here soon and start my job. Oh shit! I'm so stupid. I just pasted it in instead of putting in the tiny URL. 1 second. Okay, I said this. Do we have a Nazi in the chat? A Nazi family? Oh, Europe was a Nazi family members. That makes sense. Yes, I got the link. So everybody, check out that video. It's really, really good. Sorry I missed our Nazi in the chat. We got a lot of goofballs today. I don't even feel like we have that many people in here. How many people are in here total for them to be that many goofballs? I don't feel like we're that. 277. Oh, a little bit. I don't know. A little bit. A Lithuanian is crying. His family was sent to Siberia for supporting Nazis. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Same. It's always that. Their grandparents fled communism, and then, long story short, it turns out they were Nazis. That's how it always goes. It's absolutely wild. Okay. I see. My bank account's suffering with these numbers. I wish. Although this is the one social media platform that I do monetize, but I've just used your guys' money to like do stuff like volunteer work and like go to Cuba and stuff like that. So that's good. That was very, very helpful for you all. Good amount of newer people. Yeah, maybe our money went to Cuba. Yeah, so that's nice. And I also was invited to go to the Barcelona flotilla thing, but it was way too early. They invited me to go on the 10th, like 3 days ago, and I'm like, I can't do that. I have a job. But that would be the kind of stuff that I could do with money from this, which is nice. So, all right. We also had somebody recommend earlier. We were talking about nationalism. Stalin's Marxism and the National Question, which I think is interesting. This is also relevant to what we've been talking about over on our podcast, because we're getting into Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia is obviously a place of multiple different nationalities. And when we look at what's going on with the Kurds, if we look at, the Iraqi Kurds, the Iranian Kurds, should the Kurds have their own country? This huge question. I think that this also has to do with the national question. And Stalin talking about the national question is very interesting, because the USSR obviously famously brought together a lot of people of different nationalities. And what we see is that socialism, Marxist-Leninism in particular, actually provides a framework that allows people from multiple different nationalities to coexist. And we also see that when that framework goes away and people are thrust into capitalism and the anarchy of capitalism, they end up having a lot more ethnic tensions, a lot more wars break out, a lot more fighting happens. Okay, I'll make a Stalin emote too. Yeah, I have to do that. I'll add it to the list. All right, so it is 11:40 a.m. my time, which means I gotta go to work. I gotta start my actual work at 12. I gotta get out of here. So I gotta get out of here. We're gonna raid Larry though, and we're gonna be back tomorrow to do more news before I go to my jobby job. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to everybody who subscribes and gifts subs, and I really do appreciate it. This is my first time actually trying to monetize social media, and it is really helpful. So I appreciate it. You are a CEO, kind of. CEO off to their job, kind of. Right now, there's just 3 of us at the company. Send out your order. Okay, I will. Actually, today is shipping day, so we're gonna be sending out a lot of orders. That's what we have to do today. So we will. Big shipping day. All right. So, everybody, homework. Watch the video or read the Stalin piece on the national question. That could be good. Or maybe we save that for Thursday. I'm going to add that to my Theory Thursday list. Stalin national question. And we'll see about that for Thursday. No homework today, kids. No homework today. All right. We're doing the raid. Everybody get ready to raid our Canadian brother Larry. It's happening. Okay. Bye, everybody. I hope you all have a good day, too.